Welcome back to the Per Report. While the government encourages births to rejuvenate our aging population, some people prefer to adopt children in need. And some adoptees have risen above identity crises to see their adoption as a blessing in disguise.
I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Okay. Oh, can you
Mia, now aged 3, was adopted by Andrew and Christine Gardiner in 2012, 1.5 years after the couple applied to the Social Welfare Department.
No? The matching phase is the hardest part. We actually set up a bedroom, and then 6 months in, you're like, oh, okay, well, wonder why it's taking so long. And then 12 months in, you start sort of keeping the door closed of the bedroom.
Yeah.
you don't
want to see it.
You don't want to look into an empty cot for 12 months.
An empty child's room.
Yeah.
It's a bit depressing.
Initially, the couple wanted a Chinese child.
Having a Caucasian baby was actually not a priority for us. Hong Kong is very special to us.
British-born Andrew was 11 when his family put down roots in Hong Kong. Christine moved here from New Zealand when she was 19.
Somebody's fork and knife.
Whose fork and knife is it?
Mommy!
Mummy.
Andrew's now 39, Christine a year younger.
We quickly realized that the chances of us being matched to a Chinese child was quite slim.
Social welfare says it prefers to place children in families of their same ethnic background to minimize potential culture clash.
It's a real emotional roller coaster that at the end of our 17 months. I remember Chris saying to me, there's no point having a room for a baby when we haven't got a baby, It kind of broke my heart. So Chris broke down the cot, and literally a day later,
the next day,
we get the phone call that we've been matched to Mia.
4 days later, they met Mia.
We loved her from the very first moment. Although she's not Chinese, she is Asian.
We were asked not to reveal her ethnicity for fear her birth father would come looking for her.
It was just a nice part of our story to bring an Asian child into our family where we've been rooted for so long.
In less than 2 weeks, they welcomed Mia home.
Most people get 9 months preparation, right? We got like 9 days.
Hang your back, elbows together, bottom out.
Mia was 17 months old when she became the couple's daughter.
Originally, when we wanted the joy of having a baby, a toddler is a completely different kettle of fish to a newborn. We knew that people that had adopted older children, the bonding and process can actually be harder.
And so it was.
She had been very well treated in the childcare home. She was comfortable with us, but that she didn't really know what intimacy or love was. I would carry her, in my arms. Her limbs would just sort of be limp. She wouldn't sort of, be attached to me. There was no intimacy there.
I can do that.
You can do that? Good.
They tried for 6 weeks.
Weeks felt like an eternity. From day one, we're going to kiss her and model love to her by embracing ourselves. It was a little frustrating that it wasn't reciprocated. One day I said to Chris, maybe she'll never be an affectionate child. And as we're talking about this, Mia kissed Chris on her knees. And Chris was just like, and I was like looking at Mia like, oh my gosh. And sure enough, she gave me a little kiss on my knee, and it was just like a watershed. And she became completely attached, loving, kissing us all the time, hugging us. I love you, Daddy. I love you, Mommy. Because she had a personality. At the time we adopted her, she could walk. Her response to a thing that she doesn't like, or if she gets hurt, is not so much tears, but anger. And it just seemed a little unusual for me. And I was very quick to is this because she's adopted? Whereas Chris would be like, 2-year-olds do this. It was harder for me to adjust than Chris, definitely. It was totally like a fish out of water.
Andrew is a pastor, and Christine worked at a local childcare home before becoming a counselor in Andrew's church.
When you have a biological child, I suppose, they're having tantrums or they're pushing boundaries, and that's just a regular child. But when you have an adoptive child,
a lot of people sort of say, it's because of adoption. We've given her a wonderfully loving home. This is just Mia grappling with something, and she's going to get through it.
Andrew and Christine married in their early 20s. 8 years later, they began trying to conceive. Eventually, they underwent year-long fertility tests.
Chris was perfectly healthy, and my blood test suggested that maybe my body was having difficulty producing sperm.
Doctors suggested donor insemination.
But I just really struggled with the idea of another man's DNA mixed with my wife's DNA being a part of my potential child.
They decided to adopt.
The amazing privilege of potentially taking one of these children into our family and changing the course of their life. It was a lot more important to me than creating a new life.
They attended 2 mandatory social welfare department seminars.
They do bring up some of these bigger questions. Do you really want to be parents? You know, which I was a little offended.
Nobody asks all these questions
Of normal people.
No, we're normal.
Well.
But
yeah,
you know,
normal.
of people who conceive.
What is it? It's a fish. You know, nobody should go into adoption just thinking it's a nice thing to do.
Raccoon and Rapunzel are ready to race.
And it's for life, and you don't make that decision lightly. Oh, that's a nice story.
Gretchen and Jeff Ryan, adopted son Joey, grandchild Kiara. They're waiting for adopted son Tori, a first-year student at Wisconsin's Shepherd's College for Students with Intellectual Disabilities.
Do you want to go to Uncle Tori? Okay, walk with me.
I live in the account.
Quick. Okay, look up at Tori. Yeah, has he changed? Has he changed? Oh.
The Ryans adopted Tori at 4 weeks. He's now 21. His unmarried birth mom couldn't afford to raise him.
All she wanted was Tori's very best. She believed that she had blessed us with this beautiful, perfect baby boy.
But Tori has spastic triplegia, a form of cerebral palsy.
The doctor, the neurologist, said that he may never speak and he may never walk and that he may never be able to go to school. We assured his biological mothers, we both love him, but we will raise him.
Tori relied on walking frames until he turned 7.
All of a sudden, he walked out of the walker and was independently walking, and we're all so stunned.
Tori has exceeded everything the doctor first suggested, and now Tori's going to college. Wow. Incredible, yeah.
If I stay with my birth mom, might not walk or talk and do anything. When I'm here, I can get me to do whatever I can do right now. So to me, it's like a hopeful thing is to be happiness.
I've always wanted to be a mother through adoption.
Gretchen was born and raised in Taiwan.
Lived near a children's home, and I knew that there were children that didn't have parents.
She volunteered in the children's home until she was 16. She then moved to Los Angeles where she met Jeff. They married in 1985. They've lived in Hong Kong for 2.5 decades.
We also imagined that we would have children through birth, and we didn't, and we very quickly decided that we'd build our family through adoption.
Gretchen is a social worker and Jeff is in banking. While Jeff was on a business trip in Tokyo in 1989, Gretchen was told by a local church a 13-year-old girl needed a home.
I called Jeff that night. I said, could we become her family?
Joanna, now 38, became the couple's first child. Later, they adopted baby Tanya, now 22, from social welfare. Next came Tori. Finally, blood brothers Joey and Joshua, also from the SWD. Tori is Filipino. All his siblings are Chinese. All the children went or are going to international schools and universities.
So although I am Western, I really have very much a Chinese core to my life.
I don't think so that it would be any different to adopt Chinese kids versus kids that look more like us.
Physical resemblance has always been a bit of a sore point with me. Sometimes when I look in the mirror, I'm surprised when I see an Asian face because my parents are white. Joey and Josh are biologically related. Even when I was younger, I was always jealous that they had someone who was physically blood and flesh theirs.
Tanya had been hurt by insensitive remarks from friends.
When they saw my mom would be, "Wait, is that your real mom?" And I'd be like, "No, she's my fake mom." I would feel really offended. My real mom can't be my birth mother because she never did anything within the category of mothering. My real mom is this mom here. Even though those insecurities are still here, I think in the end, this doesn't really matter.
The family lives in Baguio Villa in Pak Phulam.
Our whole family goes hiking and goes surfing, and and it's only because Jeff is strong and can carry Tori, and we can go up the mountain together.
Joanna lives with her British husband and their 2 daughters in England. The family doesn't dodge the topic of adoption.
Because our family is an interracial family, so it's really obvious, we face these conversations on a daily basis. It's making sense of adoption.
The fact that you keep it a secret makes it seem like it's something shameful.
If I was told that I was adopted, around my age now, which is around 19, that would flip my world around.
I'm open to seeing my birth parents. It helps you answer the question, why was I given up for adoption? But I think it will take a lot of perseverance and a lot of work to find our birth mother, and especially our birth father. We know a few details, but we don't know the whole picture.
I don't need to know who my birth parent is. I actually have a family, who love me and care for me, and I'm theirs.
I was always wondering why, and so I was like, did I do something wrong, or were my parents just being stupid? Probably they saw a bleak future, so they were like, well, let's get them off this. I would have to say it's quite a blessing to be placed into such an awesome family.
Tori, Joey, and I, Tanya, blood related or not, we function as a family.
It's outside that constantly reminds us about adoption.
So do you have any natural children? And I said, so these are all my unnatural children? And I said, you need to rethink that statement.
I know we are the minority, but we don't have to feel like a minority.
Wish that I could have given birth to each one of my children. I didn't get to, and that's a loss that I have. But I know that they lost their original biological parents. So I know that adoption begins with loss.
Adoption has given me an incredibly unique family that I love to show off. There aren't many other ones. This is a very unique family.
Well, thank you for watching our show. It will be re-aired on Tuesday and Saturday, as well as on tvbeat.com. Until next time, from the Pearl Report team, good night, good luck, and good health.